So, ladies, first question: how can I apply to be a bad sister? Because I love you guys. I want to be in the group. How do I apply?
I bet you're a bad sister already.
Have you got siblings?
It's made me want a sister so badly. I love my big brother, but I just the way that you had your relationships and friendships and the squabbling. I want one. Is it too late?
I'm afraid it's too late.
Oh, I thought it's never too late.
It's too late. No, it's great. I have sisters myself, and it's a really close, kind of almost passionate sort of bond. And they're I'm lucky enough that they're my best friends as well as my sisters, and that's what these sisters are, aren't they? I mean, they all have their kind of issues with each other, which is very real and completely normal, but just that sense of how much they care about each other and how they can almost read each other's minds, that's the sort of the fun bit.
So was it based upon any kind of sisters, any kind of thing that you've had before? I mean, hopefully there hasn't been, such like this in regards to the murder.
I wouldn't say they're based on anyone in particular. They're no, I mean, they're probably, I kind of knew who was going to be playing who when I started, or well, I hoped, I mean, I'd sort of approached them, so it was kind of a little bit based on what I thought they would bring as well, and imagination.
Is she a good boss? Is she a boss? Is she a good leader?
I'm trying to get the right answer. I'm trying to get the right answer. What is the right answer? I don't know. That's why
It's really hard. It's really hard to work for.
Taskmaster. Brutal. I mean, what was really impressive, well, there's lots of very impressive things about Sharon, but to be able to do a job of that size, to be in it, to show it, to write it, to produce it, and to still manage to have a sense of humor and have a laugh and chats and be lovely and supportive on set. I think that's a really impressive thing, because you obviously have so much going on in your brain and having to multitask like nobody else.
I never really saw you.
Oh, you
No,
did.
I saw you get upset for things that you thought were being cut, maybe,
Right.
but you never lost it.
I didn't lose my sorry, I don't know if you're allowed to say that, but I didn't, because I planned not to.
Okay.
Because I think it's really easy to, when things feel like they're going out of your control a little bit. But I'd sort of said to myself, I wouldn't. I know I got emotional with you once, or it's just like, I wanted everyone to have a good time is what I wanted, but I also really cared about it a bit too much. So it was that. Because I'd sort of told myself I wouldn't lose it. I think that sort of
You had
helped.
every reason to lose it, though. So I think that's bravo.
If you're in the middle of a scene, Sharon, and you don't like it, you just cut yourself. How does that work?
We did it a couple of times. It didn't happen very often. There was one scene, I think it was either in episode 8 or episode 9, and I was sort of, I didn't like how I'd written it, and I was trying to rewrite it on the spot. Do you remember?
Yes.
And that was one of the times where I just felt embarrassed for you to sort of see me sort of flailing a bit, and but yeah, because sometimes you have to sort of cut and adjust while you're in it, but it didn't happen very often.
But also it wasn't, I never perceived it as flailing. It's just the ability to know what's not working in the moment and to be able to fix it in the moment.
In the moment, but not always. Like once we had to go back and reshoot because I knew it wasn't working in the moment, and I didn't know how to. It just didn't have the bridging elements or whatever. It just didn't have enough, and then we had to go and write that stuff in. But it was just at that point, I couldn't figure out what it was. But then you just reshoot and make sure everyone looks exactly the same.
I hope you bought her a Superwoman cape, because how do you do all this stuff? Ridiculous. It's amazing. So let's talk about John Paul. Do we all know someone like him? I mean, I really hated him. Was that the aim?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's nice to also have confused feelings about him occasionally. I think, when he's with his daughter, or when, I know there was a scene in episode 3 where you see him very much on the outside, and the sisters all having this amazing sort of, when we were doing the Easter Rising poem, and he's just sort of looking in, and I felt like I had confused feelings in that about him, like feeling,
His loneliness.
yeah, like what would have happened if they had allowed him in, or if he wasn't such, you know, like it must be hard to be that much of a.
Yeah, and I love that the episode was called that. Love that. So girls, if we're going to describe this in like a film trailer-esque way, let's go along the line. How would you just do it in a sentence? Because it's just so complicated and amazing. I don't know how I do it.
It's complicated and amazing. Bad sisters.
It's so
You did it,
hard
you
to
did
break down.
Oh, it is. It's really hard. I mean, I think it's one of the worst parts of the job is when you've got to do the sort of elevator pitch to help. You know, when you're waiting to get your show signed off, they're like, "What's the you know,
line?
what's the snappy?" And you're like, "I can't do that. That's someone else's job."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And have you girls now got like a WhatsApp group for the Bad Sisters? Do you go out? Do you have wild nights? Do you have plans?
the second one.
The WhatsApp group started on day one, and,
Yeah.
and we still have that. That's ongoing and lovely. I'd love to say there's lots of wild nights, but we're all a bit old and judgment.
Like, yeah, family barbecue.
Oh, I thought you'd be causing trouble.
Yeah, we're pretty tame. I always feel like we'd all like to see more of each other, and we're either in different countries or, you know, we also had 10 really fantastic months together, and this is a treat, isn't it? Just get to see each other, but
Well, you've
Yeah.
created something absolutely wonderful. I'm hooked. Love it.